Hey, it is David Bear here with winebear.net, and I want to talk about a phone call that I just had with a young professional here in my area who was asking me for some help identifying wines that are going to be worthwhile for her to present to at a dinner she was hosting, and she wanted to know how to identify a quality wine. And I was struggling with an understanding of what she meant by quality wine, and what she really meant ultimately was a wine that was pleasant to drink, that was enjoyable. So I gave her the following tips, and let me expand it a little bit for you so that you can benefit from figuring out how to, in fact, find a wine of quality, regardless of what your budget is. The very first thing I would do is, people call me or ask me all the time, "Hey, David, what's a good wine?" or "What wine should I drink?" And I don't like answering that question because I need more information. I need to know what the context is. I need to know, what they like to drink and all of that sort of thing. Well, let me suggest that if you are out there trying to find a quality wine, that is enjoyable to drink, that is well balanced, that has all of the attributes that one would hope a wine of quality has, whatever that may mean to you. Look, there's a couple of places I would look. I would look for general consensus that a wine is, in fact, a good quality wine. And here's what I mean by that. Looking in international magazines, publications about wine, and finding things that have very positive reviews, that's a good place to start. Understanding you're not necessarily going to like everything that's out there in those magazines, but you need to start somewhere. Talking to a wine professional and saying, here's what I like, here's what I enjoy, can you make some recommendations? Those are two really great ways to utilize other sources to guide you. Now, what I probably wouldn't do is I wouldn't rely on wine ads. I don't know that they're really necessarily going to tell me very much about the wine, and I certainly would not rely on the labels. I was in a grocery store recently and was talking to a woman who was just looking at the labels and said, "Oh, this is a cute wine." That's not certainly a way that I would buy a wine, because, of course, I've been in package design, and we are going after a certain look to capture a certain audience, regardless of what's in the bottle. So clearly not the approach I would take as a consumer. All right, next step I would follow in identifying a wine of quality. I actually, if I want to explore the range and figure out something for the future, especially if I'm hosting an event or something, and I want to know with confidence that there's going to be a great wine on the table. Well, maybe I'll actually buy a few wines and try them out. There's nothing wrong with that. There are wines of high quality at every price point. I will guarantee you that there are grocery stores here in the US that sell wines that are beautifully balanced, tasty, have all of the attributes of a high quality wine that you can get for a couple of bucks. Now, what am I expecting once I open up a wine that's $3 or $4? Not a lot that's going to dazzle me, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad wine. I want to make a distinction here between a wine of quality, a premium wine, and wine that is flabby or not well made. You can have cheap, inexpensive wine, and you can have cheap, poorly made wine. And those are two very different things. So why not buy a handful of bottles and enjoy them over the next week or two, tasting, seeing the things that you enjoy, seeing the things that you don't. Now, what I just said is probably the most important thing here, because understanding what your experience is, thinking about the things you liked and thinking about the things you don't like, is one of the most important things you can do in figuring out how to move forward in the process of buying anything that's going to be consumed by you, right? So the more that you know about your palate, your likes, your dislikes, the better you can be as a wine consumer, and the more effective you can be at communicating your likes and dislikes to wine professionals, who then in turn can help you better. All right, so you now know what you like, you now know what you don't like. Well, now it's time to act on it. Now it's time to go back and talk to a wine professional, read some things that may answer some questions about whether, do you like bright, high acid, vibrant wines? Yes? Well, either look for that sort of description in a review, or talk to a wine professional and say, hey, I just had this zippy, zingy little white wine that, was a lot of fun. I was eating, this seafood, and it was really refreshing. I'd love something along those lines. I think it was Sauvignon Blanc. Can you suggest something different that might, also be worth exploring? Great question. Anyway, that is, in a nutshell, how you find wines of high quality, regardless of your budget. So go ahead, jump out there, explore what's on the shelf, and don't be afraid to ask questions or use authority sources to figure some things out. And most of all, trust your palate. All right. Hey, this is David Baer, winebear.net. If you're not yet on the WineBear email list, why don't you jump on over to winebear.net and sign up for our weekly email, where you can find out all the fun stuff that we're doing, the interviews that we're doing, the new courses that we're putting together, and even travel opportunities to join us as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do, and like and share the video if you feel it's appropriate. Anyway, David Baer, winebear.net. Look forward to seeing you soon in another video. Take care.